Hi, it's Scott Bassett with the Understanding Narcissist channel. And in this episode, I've got to admit I'm a little embarrassed because I realized there's an idea in my book that I didn't mention earlier in these videos that really should have been a little bit earlier. So I'm just going to go into it right now. And I call it polar opposites, or the polar opposite principle, or whatever. But the idea of this principle is that narcissists the illusion tends to project the exact opposite of what the reality is. Now, this is really fortunate for us because it kind of gives us an anchor, a foothold to be able to figure out what they're doing. Because narcissists are complicated. It's often, you know what they're trying to do, but you're confused as to what path exactly they'll take to get to it, to create that result or produce that outcome. The polar opposites principle is really useful because it's not only, so far as I've found, almost 100% accurate and totally reliable. It's really foundational to how narcissists work, and so it gives you kind of a something to hold on to when you're assessing a narcissistic person, or if you're just wondering if somebody's trying to manipulate you. So the point here is that the illusion, what they're going to try to get people to believe, what they want you to believe, what you have to carry on and actualize for them, that they're great, basically that they're good, you're bad, they're great, you stink, is in every possible way, in every little constituent piece, totally the opposite of what the reality is. So, to take that as in the extreme case, and a very accurate case that's not in any way exaggerated for the sake of example, is that, say they believe they're extremely intelligent or extremely competent, far more than you, far more than most people. The truth of the situation, what they're actually feeling, that drives them so strongly to project that illusion and force it onto everybody, is that it isn't true at all, and they're terrified that they're not only not extremely competent, they're extremely incompetent. They're at a great disadvantage compared to other people. They're not as good as other people. They're nothing like what they think they are, and it absolutely terrifies them because in that kind of situation, you would leave them, they'd have to fend for themselves, and then they would, like an abandoned child, would die because they're just unfit. They're not good enough. And so that's why those things they hold on so strongly that you hear every single day, whatever it is, it's a very conditional, arbitrary thing. However they think of themselves, eating right, exercising. Oh, they get up early. It's usually the reason I haven't done a video on the things that they usually believe themselves to be is because they're pretty simple. They're very mainstream. They're very they're so industrious, or oh, they're so smart, oh, they have so many friends, all that kind of stuff. It's usually that simple. There can be some subtle nuance in sophistication to the illusion, but by and large, it's pretty rudimentary and simple because they formed it as children, and so it's really a you're all good or you're all bad type situation. And so if they're not good, then they're all bad, and that's basically how it works. So we have that to be thankful for because it makes it really simple. But always recall, the polar opposite principle is not something that has a lot of ifs, buts, whens, but only if about it. It's very straightforward, and it's really universally true that whatever they're feeling, they try to project the exact opposite. That's why they, just as a general rule, narcissists don't like to be in vulnerable positions. They don't like to be, having to go to the bathroom when there's a situation they want to be controlling and manipulating. They don't want to be asleep when other people are up and awake, because it makes them feel vulnerable, and they need to control that situation to project that illusion, that strength, and that fear to rule over people. And on that note, I wanted to make this video a little bit shorter because I think I got to the point. But that just kind of led me straight to another idea, which is that bad people, not just narcissists, but bad people in general, always believe that fear is the ultimate. Fear and power is or fear is the ultimate result of power, and that's what everybody desires, and that everybody else desires it. That no matter, even if people don't say it, because we're polite or we're civil or we're curt or whatever, when we're being friendly, as narcissists usually try to be, they try to be jovial and gregarious and whatever. But the ultimate goal that everybody's striving for and is willing to step on other people's toes and do all kinds of terrible things to get at is power. And that everybody's out for power, even if they don't admit it. It's power, it's money, it's control over other people, to tell them what to do. That's the ultimate desire. That's their fantasy, which, by the way, they do daydream about, if you're wondering. They all do. They all have their own kind of fantasy of how they want things to be, fantasies of power and prestige and all this stuff. It's only natural. So to really drive that home, though, is that bad people, in narcissistic people, absolutely believe that everybody, even if they don't say it, everybody's bad at some point and behaves the way they do when they're trying to get at things. And they're willing to do anything to get it. And that power, the ultimate desire is to get power and instill fear in people. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that they confuse fear with respect. They don't know the difference between them. They don't have those kinds of values where you're trying to, positive relationships and people cooperating to do great things together. That doesn't exist. It's all kind of every man for himself, every man or woman for himself, and very Machiavellian in that way, where the ultimate goal is to instill fear, to control people. It's not to build respect and a rapport and start like a cooperative effort. The world only revolves on that basis. So I think I'm going to close. I don't want to close with such a dark and brooding idea, but I think I'm going to close on that note, and I just want to say thanks for watching. Subscribe below if you haven't already, or I guess it's over here. And like this video, share it with your friends. If there's somebody you think benefit from it. If you want even more information, as usual, I've got a link in the description box below with a link to my book with even more information if you're interested. If not, that's fine too. Just keep watching these videos. I really enjoy doing them, and let me know what you guys, if there's anything in particular you guys want me to answer, because I'm sure there is, because there's already more activity on here than I thought there would be, which is as usual. But that's great. I'm glad people like it, and I hope they're getting along well with it. And so with that, have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.